Hey coaches, before I get into this, the intro and the explanation of how the format works for our midline hurricane heat. Now this is the 2-station 4-round version. So again, we have those two different versions. On this one, there are only 2 exercises, but they're gonna do 4 rounds of them. So just real quick notes on this one. Whenever we're in the hurricane heat, the focus is the sprints. The reason this one's more of a midline one is because the sprints are going to red line them. They're gonna go as hard as they can on the sprints. Then they're gonna rest. Then on that second station, something unique is gonna happen. For rounds 1 and 3, there's gonna be a midline move, which is basically kind of just to keep the engine revved up, so ready to go, so that they're staying warm, so that when they come up to the sprints, they can really go. On stations 2 and 4, or rounds 2 and 4 rather, the station move there is going to be a core one. So we're just basically putting some core in there. So again, how it should look like, they go as hard as they possibly can, they rest, they midline, they rest, they red line. They're going to do that for round 1. Then for round 2, it's the same thing. I'm going to red line, I'm going to rest, I'm going to work my core, I'm going to rest, I'm going to red line. So they're probably actually, the way that's balanced out is that midline is going to trend to push them so that they're going to spend most of the time in the red lines. That second round with that core work is going to let them pull their heart rate back down a little bit, so that basically our real goal is if they make 5 touches on the cone in round 1, we want them to still be able to get 5 touches on the cone in round 4. So that's the big key that we're shooting for here. So again, as coaches, our real focus is on those sprints, giving them maximum efforts, and everything else that's happening here is basically just prep work to get ready for those sprints. So we don't want to push them so hard on that midline move that they can't sprint efficiently when they get to the sprints, and the same thing on the core. So just so we know what we're doing, so when I'm demoing for my clients, you really want to make sure you're explaining that. So here's kind of how I would intro that then. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, and we're going to do our hurricane heat. If you haven't done a hurricane heat, basically what that means in any other language is sweat a lot. How we're going to do this is we are going to sprint a whole lot, and that's okay because we all love sprinting. So what you're going to notice is there are 2 stations that have just green discs. When you're at the green disc, we want you to focus 100% on recovery. You don't have to jog in place, you don't have to do jumping jacks. It's just get my heart rate down. And the reason for that is because the focal point of this entire workout is these sprints. And so we want you to, when you get to the sprint station, be able to actually really sprint on this one. So how it works is I'm going to sprint as hard as I can, back and forth as many times as I can for 25 seconds. Then I'm going to rotate to the rest station, I'm going to rest. For rounds 1 and 3, when I come to this next station here at these cones, I'm going to be doing a midline body weight workout. The whole point of this is basically I'm just going to keep the engine warmed up so that I'm ready to sprint. Then I'm going to rest again, kind of to recover from that warming up, and then I'm going to go hard. And I'm going to go through the line like that 3 times. Once I'm done with that, then for round 2, again, the sprints will stay the same, but now instead of a midline move here, there's going to be a core move. Basically, we're just going to work on the core a little bit, which will bring our heart rate down just a little bit, but we're still going to really focus on the sprints. I'll go through that 3 line times. Then for round 3, like I said, this will change back to a midline move. Again, you're going to just keep that engine warmed up so that we're focusing on the sprints. And then for round 4, again, this will switch to a core. But the key for this entire workout is these sprints, guys. If you get 5 touches on the cone on your first round, when we get to round 4, I still want to be getting 5 touches on that cone. So I'm really going to focus on using the stuff on this side of the room to recover, and they're just going to keep me warm so that I can really emphasize these sprints. So the goal of today's workout is when you're sprinting, you're going to go as hard as you can, and you're going to push your heart rate as high as it will go because of this maximum effort on the sprints. When I'm on these stations here, I'm basically just going to try to stay warm enough to not get stiff so that when I come back to the station on the sprints, I can really go hard again. Sounds good, guys? All right, here are your moves.